Welcome back everyone. In this short video tutorial, we're going to cover how to safely operate the vertical bandsaw here in the wood shop. Vertical bandsaw is a tool you may or may not have ever used, but it's a great tool for cutting curved contours and things that don't necessarily need to be straight. It's also very useful if you just need to make a quick cut and you don't really care if it's straight or not. With the vertical bandsaw, you're able to cut a number of materials ranging from wood, plastic, and metal, even some composites. In today's lesson, we're going to show you how to cut wood on the vertical bandsaw and show you how to change the blade out as well. Now before we get started, we need to make sure that we've got our safety glasses on and that between our fingertips and our elbows are free and clear of any sort of entanglement hazards. Let's jump in. Alright, and here is our vertical bandsaw, Powermatic brand. Here's just a quick overview. Right here in front of the user is the on-off switch. It's like a light switch, but it's fairly hard to accidentally turn on. Around the side we have another work light, just in case you need a little more light to work. Down below is our gear adjustment handle, and below that is our speed adjustment wheel. On the side of the machine you're going to find storage for bandsaw blades. Depending on which material you're cutting, you'll change the blade to suit the material. Here's our cabinets that will open to change the blade itself. And here's the blade, just so you can get an idea of what it looks like. And finally, our guard height adjustment. So the first step in changing the bandsaw blade is to open the top cabinet. Make a note of the fact that the cabinets are held in with latches and they're not threaded. Same thing down below. We'll open up the bottom cabinet to expose the blade. When we're removing the blade, we need to first remove the blade guard down below. So we'll undo both of these handles. Now note that they're very easy to fall out, so they just need a quarter to a half turn to loosen, and we'll just slide that right on out. Next, we need to loosen the tension on the blade, so we'll turn this wheel counterclockwise, and you'll notice the top wheel is lowering. Next, we'll remove the blade from the top wheel. And we also need to pull it out of this side slot, so you kind of have to wiggle it out of the side slot. To fold the blade for storage, simply step on the blade, place your hands palm facing up, and fold the blade as if it were a taco, dropping that top loop down and then simply releasing. You want to make sure that you don't pinch the top loop like so. You want to make sure you fold and drop that top loop down so that the blade actually folds in on itself. Place it to the side of the machine for storage. To unfold the blade, you don't just want to drop it on the ground. You want to kind of pull it open, or else it won't open, as you just saw. So we'll pull it open as we throw it on the ground, and that should allow the blade to open. Now we're going to replace the blade, basically reversing the process as before, placing it on top of the top wheel, feeding it through the slot on the side, and then a helpful trick here is to place the blade between these sets of rollers here, and that's going to prevent the blade from falling down when you go down to the bottom roller to place it on the lower roller. We'll place it carefully on the lower roller, and it doesn't have to be perfect here, you just want it to hold on there. We'll start tensioning the blade a little bit by turning the tension wheel clockwise, a few turns. Now you can see the tension created in the blade here. We're going to change the gear from high to neutral to allow us to spin the blade. So we'll give it a spin, keep your hands free from this so that it doesn't get caught, and now we'll tension the blade until it's fully tensioned to the thickness of the blade, which in this case is 1/2 inch. So tension the blade until it reaches 1/2 inch of tension. Spin the wheel again and this time we'll place it back into high gear. We'll put back the blade guard just like before. And we'll close up our cabinets on the bottom and then on the top, latching them securely closed. So we're ready to start cutting, and in this example I've got two pieces. One, we'll do a simple straight cut, and the other, we'll do a curved contour cut. So let's get started with the contour cut. First, I'm going to cut a few relief cuts to allow the curved cut to be a little bit easier. So I'm going to cut several relief cuts and then pull the blade back out. As you can see, from there I can flip this around and start my contour. So I'm really just tracing the line here, rotating the part as needed, making certain to keep my hands far away from the blade. And with each cut, you'll see those sections will fall off. Flip the part around to gain safe access to the blade. And we'll go ahead and turn off our saw. Again, waiting until the saw completely stops before touching the material that we've cut. Next, I'll show you how to do a quick rough cut. This won't be straight, but I'll just simply follow the line that I've cut, making sure to keep my hands away from the blade. It's that simple. Turn it off again, and again, waiting or using a piece to push it aside before the blade stops. Now in this instance, I want to make this cut, but it's too small for my fingers to safely be away from the blade, so I'm going to use these two push blocks, and these are going to keep my fingers away so that I can execute the cut safely. So with my push blocks holding the material, I'll just make the cut as before. Again, just pushing the material through the blade. Turning off the blade and waiting until the blade has completely stopped before touching the part. And that covers the bandsaw. It's pretty simple to use once you've got it figured out. Hopefully you learned something and that video is useful to you. And that concludes our online Saws and Drills workshop. Hopefully you learned something new and found that information useful. If you have any questions or aren't sure about something, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can reach us at cameron.miksch@colorado.edu, or you can reach out to mark.eaton@colorado.edu. See you next time.